Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Ryan. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but... Can I tell you what one of my favorite things in the world is?
Yeah.
When you have plans to, like, social plans with people and you don't want to go and you're probably going to cancel, but then they cancel before you do. And it's just like, yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
One of the best feelings about adulting. Yeah, but do you remember how when we were kids, like all we wanted to do was go places and do things? But I mean, like, it's just funny to me now because now we're like, oh, I get to stay home and do nothing. Whereas, like, when we were kids, we were like, we get to leave the house tomorrow and go somewhere that's not school or church or the grocery store. Oh my God. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, yeah, we never like went to people's houses that I can recall, unless it was like a church thing.
Yeah, it was always a church thing.
Yeah.
We didn't really know any cool church people.
Yeah, and then all of mom's like mom and dad's actual friends had to come to our house because they didn't have kids.
Right.
So, and now my only friends are people that have kids that I see on a regular basis. So.
Yep. Yeah, I have a friend who's moving to Madison, Wisconsin, and we were like, oh, sad, but quite honestly, we only get together physically about once a year anyway. So I'm like, well, I guess I get to go to Madison once a year. That'll be nice. I feel
Don't go in the winter.
We had a nice time that one time we went to Milwaukee. I'm sure I could have a good time.
Yeah, that evening, our evening jaunt to Milwaukee from Chicago. Yeah. It seemed awesome.
See, this is what you learn from movies, because we watched Bridesmaids, and I was like, she's always driving back and forth between Chicago and Milwaukee. It cannot be that far. Looked it up. It's not that far.
Here we go.
We went. Off we went.
We went to the Cheese Castle.
We went to the Cheese Castle. We had a drink at a bar and a recommendation for a German food place that looked like the mob ran it in the 70s, and they never changed it after that.
I will stand by my assertion that the best use of online dating is traveling, like, and getting recommendations, because you have like automatic connection to people who live in that city.
True.
So you can just be like, hey, that was like the most positive use of like, which one is it? The Z? What's it called?
Tinder?
This was Tinder. That's not a Z. That's a T. Yeah, that was the most positive benefit I ever got out of Tinder. And it's because I met Ben on Bumble. So some of you might be like, well, what about your partner? Well, that was Bumble. So, yeah.
I think everybody was wondering that. Like, wait a minute.
Throwing shade at her.
Everybody thinks that you met him on Only Farmers because he's a farmer.
So many people asked, and I should have just lied and been like, yep.
Oh,
farmers only, not only farmersonly.com.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Those the best commercials. The talking dog.
There's a talking. They don't show those to me. Hulu can't figure out what I am.
I don't think it's a thing anymore because I haven't seen a commercial for farmersonly.com.
Well, it's not a thing anymore because now it's a reality TV show. I did see a commercial for that on Roku last night. So, yeah, it's like The Bachelor, but it's a farmer. Mm-hmm.
It's like Green Acres, but as a reality TV show. Like
probably
Green Acres, the matchmaking show. Goodbye, city life.
Well, I spent a lot of this week being both better and sick, like sick in a different way. So I felt like I got hit by a truck and like was in bed a lot, but now I'm doing better. So I'm going to go see our uncle today. And our friend that's been helping him has been really, really great and helpful. And apparently she yells at him not to go in the backyard unless anybody else is there because she's worried he's going to fall in the pool again. So like these are all good things. But I asked her to put together a packet of paperwork and put it in the mail to me And I still haven't received it. And I have a very strong feeling that I'm going to show up at his house today and that thing is going to be sitting in his mailbox with no mail on, with no stamps on it, just sitting there waiting for me. It's like, that's not helpful. The whole point was to mail it to me so that I could do the paperwork while I can't go to Dallas. But
Yeah.
evidently,
I mean, is she like a Gen Z? Does she not understand like about how mail works?
no,
Because I guarantee you, my students have never mailed a single thing in their entire goddamn lives.
no, she's probably about, I don't know, between 5 and 10 years older than I am.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's a okay. Well,
yeah. Or she didn't put enough postage on it and it got returned to him, or it's lost somewhere, or I mean, there's lots of possibilities.
did
But the
she
one
say
that made me,
put it in the mail?
yeah, she told me that Monday night. I put it in the mail. But I was like, what if she just means she put it in the mail? Because I was trying to figure out, like, why isn't it here? Like, it's Sunday. This happened Monday. It's been a fucking week. Like, it's not.
Yeah, that's
Pony Express could have got it here by now. Come on. Um,
press.
so you are looking forward to how you're going to be wasting time soon, I think.
Yes, a week from today, I will be on my way to the beach. So we leave Saturday, and then we'll stay in. I think we're staying in like Columbia, South Carolina. So if anybody knows any good restaurants or things to do, because we'll be in there, staying there on the way there and on the way back. And then we will drive to St. Augustine on Sunday and be there for 4 or 5 days. So yeah,
Cool.
I'm fulfilling my like. It's funny because I do like I feel like I talk a lot on this show about how like different we are and not normal we are. But I will say one thing that I long for in life in like a very nostalgia bullshitty kind of way is that like vacation. Like this is our vacation home or our vacation spot. So we are going back to St. Augustine. We went there last year and we are actually staying in the exact same condo that we stayed at last year.
Cool.
So I guess maybe in a way, like my son, I'm like, I like to know what to expect. Like, and
Yeah.
you know, so which apparently Ben didn't realize because we had this conversation that he's like, oh, we're staying like he's like, I guess he thought we're staying like the same. Because like the condos are like there's high, there's a bunch of buildings in this like complex, and I guess he thought we were just staying in the same complex, but then like a different. And I was like, no, we're staying in like the exact same condo, like but they owned by the same. And he's like, okay. I was like, yeah. I mean, we had literally no complaints about it, so So, but yeah, so we're very excited.
I mean, you're gonna go hang out at the same beach and eat at the same restaurants and do it.
We are gonna, yeah. We had a conversation. I was like, all right, which restaurants that we ate at last year do we want to eat at again? Which one do we not want to? Most of the ones we ate at were really good. We only eat out like once a day while we're there.
It's the second in our series of They Let You Watch That. Because it is funny, Blazing Saddles from 1974. That is funny. It is funny. It is. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you remember about the movie?
I mean, I kind of just wrote down bits and pieces because that's really what I remember. Like, I mean, I could name, it's mostly lines.
Yeah.
From the movie, but I definitely remembered a lot. There wasn't a lot watching it that I was like, I guess what I didn't remember was how many times you hear some ethnic and racial and identity slurs. I didn't remember that. So this is one where I'm like, was there a conversation had with us? And I doubt that there was. So this is why I asked you if we could get mom to cameo so I could be like, what do you think about your choice to let us watch this movie? And did you talk to us about, what we were hearing and seeing? But yeah, I mean, I remember most everything about this movie because we definitely watched it more than once and later in life.
Yeah, what I wrote was obviously we didn't watch it in 74 since neither of us were alive.
No.
Most of what I remember is not from watching it in the 80s, but I remember how strange it seemed for there to be a black sheriff, right? Like, I mean, the whole concept of that was like weird. But
Which is
then
the point of the movie.
yes, but then I've been catching up on the dollop while I've been back broken, and I have discovered that there were so many black cowboys after the Civil War. Like
Yeah.
30% of cowboys were black. Like not at all how Hollywood portrays that
No.
situation at
No.
all. So it shouldn't have been surprising. I do also remember through the past years, mom and dad saying and other people insisting that this movie couldn't be made today. This they couldn't get away with this today. They couldn't. And I've thought a lot about that. And watching it last night, I definitely tried to pick apart like what couldn't get made today.
Hmm.
Um, I think that it honestly almost didn't get made then. That really the only way it got made was because um, um, I'm losing my mind.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, that's it, had
Okay.
total creative control. So
Yeah.
the studio couldn't gainsay him. And they kept talking to him during the whole movie, and they were like, well, we're worried about this and we're worried about this. And he's like, okay, and acting like he was going to change something. He didn't change anything. So it's like, no. And yes, the use of the N-word is prevalent. It is nuanced, I would say. It is not something that only white people say in a derogatory way. So I think that that made it feel more realistic in the
Yeah.
sense that it was that it is a word that it is very obviously racially charged, historically
Hmm.
weighted, a word that you can't say, right? That you have to say this word, right? You can't
Yeah.
actually say the word, which there's also a word that comes up in this movie and in A Fish Called Wanda that I also will not say, which
Yeah.
is the F word. But of course, in the 80s, everybody said it all the time. So it is
Have you
interesting.
always not been able to say that word?
No, I could say it before. And I have
Okay.
actually used the F word as like describing someone at one point in time in the way that there is no better descriptor for the way that that person was behaving at that point in time. And they actually were like a male homosexual who was behaving in a very specific way where I was like, oh my God, you're such a, like, I mean, I said it. And then I was thinking
Yeah.
too, like a couple of years ago during COVID on Twitter, there was like a headline that came out where it was like a group that was trying to track like hate speech, right? And they were like,
Hmm.
usage of the F word has gone down, blah blah blah. And it's like super gay guy reposted it was like, oh, I gotta try harder.
Gotta ramp that back up.
Yes, laughing so. I mean, so again, it's like we can't talk about this language as. I mean, there's it's it's complicated language, and there's a way that when you are the person who's oppressed by the language, reclaim it
Yeah.
and can use it, but
Yes.
you are the one who has that option. Like I am not the one who has that option
Oh, yeah.
at
No.
all, at all.
It's so. I love doing this conversation, like when I would teach sociology or women's studies or an elective with high schoolers, and having the conversation around words and
Right,
who's allowed and the power that they have, and talking to students and being like, they're because like you're not saying the F word, I like I can say that word, like I can't, but like I like physically, like I cannot bring myself to say that word when, and like
right.
getting my students to understand that, you know, and of course there's the difference between the hard R and the A and the ending and all of that. But like even just recently, I had a student who was like, Miss Davis, you're one of us. You can use this word, and I was like, that's okay, thank you. No,
Yeah. I don't need that word.
I like the, thank you for making me an honorary. Like, I'm glad that we're cool, um, because,
You were like, can I see
try.
the minutes from the meeting where this was approved?
Yeah.
I'd like Is there like a certificate? Do I get a badge?
Can I get an official proclamation from the council?
Like, I don't think the NAACP is issuing this. Like,
oh my God. So I did mention that we were talking about a court case, and it was like the NAACP, da 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 da. And they were like, what is that? And I was like, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored Persons. And they were like, colored persons? And I was like, you are welcome to write to them, but that is what it stands for. Like, I'm literally just telling you what the acronym is. Like,
right.
Just like that's okay.
Do your homework.
Yeah. But I remember talking and being like, I remember that I actually said the F word my first year teaching. I was teaching sociology. And I said, and like some kids were like, whoa. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, we don't say that. Oh, okay. Not bad. Right. Like, we don't say that word. Like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know that was for me, the only like off limit words it was the N word,
Yeah.
And then I love using the other F word that I can say is fat. Oh, I love using the word fat around people. They get so uncomfortable. It used to be uncomfortable for me to say. Like, I never always said it.
And to clarify, she's saying FAT, fat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You weren't enunciating very well, so it might have been the shortened word of the shortened version of the F word.
No, yes. No, the one that I get to reclaim and take ownership of because I identify as a fat person.
Yeah. Still not hitting that T, but that's all right.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. Fat.
Mm-mm. You swallow it.
Yeah.
All I got was the T that time.
Fat.
Nope, the T got swallowed.
I don't know how. I think it's my microphone because I am enunciating every fa. You're dumb. You're deaf. I'm
cutting all this out. It doesn't matter.
Good. Oh my Lord. But yes,
I think we also have to talk about the fact that this movie is set in frontier America.
I know. I was trying to figure out
and it would be goddamn ridiculous to act like the N-word wasn't. I mean, that is there.
No, I know.
It is culturally accurate. It is weird to watch a movie where it all gets whitewashed, like that is.
But then we love watching a movie like fucking Shonda Rhimes, like the Shondaland movies, though, too, where that's so culturally not whitewashed, but like that. I remember Ben coming in and being like, watching me watch some Bridgerton or something, and he was like, what?
Yeah, but there's a way that
confused.
I think that's like that's kind of like a fantasy situation.
Yes, I know.
This is, it's farce, it's parody, it's satire, it's all of those things. But there's a way that you can speak the truth about a situation when you're making fun of it that you can't if you're just trying to tell the straight story. So like Hollywood Westerns, there is a very small limit to how much truth they could tell, right? I mean, like, the use of blackface and redface and yellowface and every other kind of rather than actually hiring people of color to play roles, like that's a huge problem.
Oh, it's still an issue, right? But now instead of hiring people of color, it's hiring people of whatever it is.
Right.
Yes. Like hiring someone who's actually deaf to play a deaf person, hiring someone who's actually differently able to play a differently abled person.
Yeah. Really the only criticism I have of this movie is there are just way too many men. I mean, the women in it are great. I mean, like Madeline Kahn is perfection. It's a lot of, but it's like, bro, like, so many dudes.
It's just like that time period, like the men who were running comedy, especially in America, didn't think women were funny, right? Like,
right. Yeah. I mean, well, yes and no. I mean, I think Mel Brooks knew that Madeline Kahn is funny. Like, I think, like.
No, I know, but I just mean like the general, like,
yes,
Saturday Night Live, like,
Yeah.
comics, it was very male dominated.
Yes. I mean, there's still people that think women aren't funny, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely was so, like that to me is like the only way that this could be funnier is if there was a woman writer and there were more women in it. Because now
Hmm.
part of it, I don't because there's a whole lot of rape jokes in this movie. So like first of all, if you're offended by anything at all, don't fucking watch this movie. Just don't. Or unless you want to do it like exposure therapy where you quit being offended by shit, then it's great. Watch it over and over and over because it is hilarious. I will stand by it.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. I'm not gonna defend every single joke in it, but it is a hilarious movie. But there are a lot of rape jokes. So in some ways, I'm glad there weren't more women in it because then it's like, well, would they then actually have to like portray
Yeah.
rape? Like,
Yeah.
like, does that have to happen? Like, do we have to go Westworld with it? Like, what can't they get away with it?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and then I was like, damn, there's a lot of writers. But usually that's a sign of a bad movie. I think in this case it worked. Gabby Johnson, the authentic frontier gibberish. Oh my God. I
Oh my
cannot.
God. Like, yes, I'm so glad that the children were here to hear not just your passion, but also authentic frontier gibberish. Like,
Oh, that they were all called Johnson. I don't know how I never caught that till this
yeah.
viewing. Like this
Yeah.
viewing is the first time I caught it. I've seen this movie so many times. Watching this with the availability of the internet is so much better. Like I was like, actual Count Basie? Yes, it is the actual Count Basie. Like that's amazing. Like it took me
Yeah.
so long. Literally, the first thing I wrote down, like, was that's a lot of writers, which of course that was during the beginning. Then I wrote content warning, racist language, and other slurs. And then I wrote Gabby Johnson. So it was like I literally didn't write anything because I was just watching the movie. It's so hilarious where they're like,
I didn't write a lot either because I was
the
also watching
Cape
the movie. And the stuff I
Town
wanted to write was just
races.
lines.
Like
Like,
the Cape Town races. Like
I don't
it
know.
reminded me of what I'm trying to do at work, where like I have these people coming at me, and instead of taking it seriously, like I'm trying to throw it back at them, where I was like, this is just so good. Like just so good.
I did like where Gene Wilder referred, I think it was Gene Wilder referred to Bart as a dazzling urbanite.
Yes, that was great.
Dazzling urbanite like yourself.
I
I
do
was like,
like the
that's a nice
part
way of saying black.
where they're like trying to figure out, like, the minister's like, oh, everybody, calm down, we need to come together in the spirit of Christianity or whatever,
Hmm.
and somebody shoots the Bible. And I was like, all right, there's America right there where racism trumps religion. Bam, done. Like
Yeah,
one
right.
scene,
Yes.
done. Like one sight gag, done. I thought it was weird that both of these movies have references to Nietzsche.
Yes. Yeah. I was
um,
like, oh, okay, there we go.
it'll be real weird if
From chaos comes order. Like,
Mhm. Be interesting to see if I manage how many of the six that we have in our arsenal have a Nietzsche reference.
have a Nietzsche reference.
Yeah, Gene Wilder is magical. Like,
Yes. I feel like not too many. I think, so many actors and we're like, oh, too soon, blah, blah. Like, he's probably the top of the list of people that I feel like went too soon.
and Gilda Radner, his
Well,
wife.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like,
She
as
was
far as
very
would have
funny.
wanted to see, like, what else they could have done.
Yeah.
But apparently, the only people still alive from this movie is Mel Brooks of the
Oh
main
wow.
characters. Yeah.
Well, all those dudes were old as fuck. Like,
Well, I know, but like the guy that played Bart, I mean, he died at like 53 of like colon
oh,
cancer. Yeah,
oh,
because I was like, what else is he in? Because he is so good.
oh, Cleavon Little will
He's,
remember, honey. Come on, he was in our vampire movie.
oh shit, was he really?
Yes.
Okay.
He played the gay butler to the Countess.
Are you sure? I
Yes, I'm sure. Look it up.
I looked him up and I did not see that.
Okay.
I don't know. If it's not him, you're gonna feel awfully racist.
I don't know how I can feel more racist while not actually being racist.
Everyone's
I
racist.
know.
Okay.
Would you
I
like to know
see
what mom likes about this movie right now?
Sure.
It's
Okay. What the fuck are you doing? You're right. He was in One Spittin'. Okay,
Yeah, it was.
sorry. Okay.
She likes my version of the theme song. 'Cause I think
Oh,
the
I
theme
was like,
song.
which song are you singing?
That was
Like,
the theme song. Like, so intense and like, so they apparently advertised they wanted a singer who sounded like that guy, and that guy was like, "Hey, I'll sing it or whatever," but they wouldn't tell him it was a parody because they wanted it to sound authentic. So he thought he
yeah.
was singing for like a real Hollywood Western.
Oh no.
It's like, no. Mom was laughing really hard last night when I was doing that. So
I mean, Madeline Kahn is just amazing. Oh, this is hard.
well, and it's like the more like because I didn't know that. I mean, I think I knew when I forgot that it was supposed to be Marlena Dietrich, you know, sort of like a Marlene Dietrich. And so then, like later in the movie, when she's wearing like the suit, then I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Like she's wearing the suit, she's getting all the German soldiers drunk. That's cute. But then I was also thinking about how Herbert told us about hearing the Marlena Dietrich version of the little drummer boy and how she sings it off beat. And like I found it.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's like para pa pa pum. She
Oh my
doesn't do
lord.
it the way it's supposed to be done. It's like she's Marlena Dietrich. She does whatever the hell she wants. She's amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean this is like so for people who like Wet Hot American Summer. And I don't know their names and I apologize, but the white guys behind that movie, they like working together because they both like all different kinds of humor. And so that's why they like Wet Hot American Summer, because you've got low humor, high humor, irony, sarcasm, parody, satire. I mean, like all of it, right? Slapstick, all of it. And I think that that's part of why this like Mel Brooks works, is because it's the same kind of thing where you can have like
Yeah.
the bean scene where they're all like
Could hear dad laughing during that scene. Like I could hear dad's like I can't breathe,
yes,
wheezing, knee slapping,
yeah,
like teary eyed,
yeah,
like laughing during that scene. It was like, oh my God, this has got to
yes,
be, yeah.
yeah. No, I love that. And then you've got like Sheriff Bart decked out in the most gorgeous suede with a Gucci bag. Like, that's hilarious. Like, it's so good.
And then just like breaking the boundaries,
Yes.
to like breaking the third wall
How
or
many of them
whatever.
break the fourth wall? Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And all the different ways they break the fourth wall. It's so good.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
going into other sound studios and
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yep.
look, Headley Lamar. It's Headley.
So apparently she sued.
Did she really? Good
Heidi
for
Lamar
her.
sued, but he like Mel Brooks thought that was a compliment. Like he was like, oh, she noticed. But I thought it's so great because it's like now you know people. Like when I was a kid, it was like, who's Hedy Lamar? You know, but I didn't have an easy way to go figure that out. But it's like anybody who watches this movie now is like, who's Hedy Lamar? They're gonna go look her up and be like, holy shit, she's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like
She
so
invented the internet.
right,
Like,
yeah. And she was a gorgeous movie star. Like, but it's like
yeah.
so in some ways it's like god damn it there's no women, but then in other ways it's like okay, the way that he does honor women is pretty amazing. Like, you know, like having a character's name, and he didn't think he would get sued, like he honestly didn't pay attention. But you know, at the end
Yeah.
when the really funny, I don't remember his name, but the guy that goes in and he's like raisinets, like evidently for years raisinets like by the case would show up to Mel Brooks. He's like, what did the fuck? All these raisinets, like just think of
I
like
mean, I guess the other good thing about him too is like there's no one's safe, right? So it's
yeah,
like I think the only way comedy like his works too is when no one is safe, like
right, yeah, yeah,
everyone,
including himself.
anyone.
So
Yeah.
apparently, you know, like I mean the movie is not, it's right around 90 minutes, so it's perfect. Apparently what ended up on most of the cutting room floor was like Mel Brooks. He cut most of his own scenes. He had written a
Mm,
lot more for the governor, cut them all
mm,
out. And
yeah.
I'm like, that's great. I mean, you can put your own ego aside and just be like,
Hmm.
the movie doesn't need this, right? Like it's got everything else. This is just going to slow it down. So
I just love how he had Gov written on the back of his shirt.
I know, so good. Yeah. Like, and then the point, like, so apparently Cleavon Little did not know that Gene Wilder was going to end it with, morons. So his reaction to that is genuine.
Oh my God.
And I'm sorry.
It's probably the best line in the entire movie.
It is really good.
Yeah.
And followed by, "You'll just make him mad." And a lot of that is just Gene Wilder's delivery. Like
yeah.
just that gentle, like, just make him mad. Like that sweet little punching a horse is cruel and fucking hilarious. Sorry. It's not funny to really punch a horse, but to Hollywood fake punch a horse is really fucking funny.
You can't park there. It's illegal. Like,
I still think Where the White Women At is the funniest movie, like the funniest line. I can never get over it. It makes me laugh so hard every time.
Like as a way to piss off Klan members. Yes.
Like there was a part of me where, like, in the 80s, if I were a Black man, like, I feel like I would have said that a whole lot. Like, any party I went to, I mean, you can't now, people will fucking kill you, but, like, there was a short little time where I think that would have been really, really great. Tollways.
What?
Sorry, I just love that they created tollway to try to slow everybody down. And then, like, is anybody got a roll of dimes?
We need a lot of dimes.
It's like,
the hard part was inventing the candygram.
No, they're not going to give me credit for it. And the fact that, like, they didn't just go around, it's like, part of that is like people's adherence to social structure is like,
yes.
Well, there's a tollway, we got to pay it. Like, but it reminded me of that time that we tried to go to Dallas.
Oh my gosh, we're throwing so many coins. Yes. It was before toll tags or before them just like sending you bills. I still haven't gotten a bill from when I was in Texas.
I think they just write a lot of that stuff off.
Okay, I hope so, because it was a lot.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Or they recognize me from being in your car and they just send it all to me. That's maybe why my toll tag's so high. Who knows? But yes, there was.
Was it
raining?
No, it wasn't raining.
Okay.
But like it was before toll taxes, before they could like scan a tag or just scan your plates and send you a bill in the mail, right? So this is the early 2000s. They didn't have people
working.
There were not people. There was no person working at the toll booth. It was just like you had to have coins.
Right.
So you had to have coins, which is not a thing people have anymore. And it had like this like
net
cage thing on it, like this plastic thing that protruded out so you could just like kind of throw it in to get you to get out faster. And like, I don't know why, but we threw in the right amount.
Yeah.
And it didn't take. And then maybe it was raining. I don't know. And then we just ended up just throwing so many coins and then just driving because it didn't have like a bar.
Right.
So we weren't waiting for some arm thing to lift. It would just make this like terrible alarm noise at you.
Yes.
Like, and I'm like, I just threw $20 in coins at your fucking machine. Like, I don't. Yeah.
Sometimes we just do things for the comedy.
Lots of times we just do things for the comedy, and a lot of times completely sober.
Yep, we definitely were at that point.
Yeah.
I thought the pull back to reveal the Warner Brother lot was great. So it was like, oh yeah, well, let's just build a fake. We'll build a fake town. Okay, we built a fake town. Oh no, now we're in the real town again. Oh no, guess what? The real town is actually just part of the Warner Brothers lot. Like, that was so good. The chorus boys or the chorus girls in The French Mistake. So good. Like, and I think that's what's so interesting. So if you think about this movie, it came out in 74, probably filmed in like 72, 71, 73, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So like Stonewall had not been that long before, right? So this is a movie that was filmed after Stonewall, but while homosexuality was still illegal in those states. And yet it's referencing back to a known stereotype of classic
Mhm.
Hollywood in the 30s and 40s of gay chorus dancers, right? And so again, it's like just the way that he uses comedy to fold in on itself
Mhm.
and get away with things where it's like it's just that nobody's talking about it. It's not like it's not there. It's
Yeah.
there. Like just because nobody's fucking talking about it doesn't mean that it's not happening. Like it's
Yeah.
totally happening.
Well, like the thing that's like we've been entertained by drag our entire lives. Like,
Right,
why
exactly,
is it?
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
just like let it go. Like,
yeah.
get over it.
So, at the end, it's like, okay, could they make this movie today? No. But damn, are we as racist as fucking ever? Like, holy shit.
Yeah, like
We're so
nothing's
goddamn
changed.
racist.
Yeah.
We can't be
It's
funny
like we
about it.
can't make this movie today because we're too woke, but we're just as racist and prejudiced and like
Yeah. Yeah. So
so
all
it's
that
like
we did,
the worst of both worlds.
we drove the darkest part of everything underground, right?
Yeah.
But now that underground is like voting for Trump, where it's like,
Yeah. So we can't laugh about it,
right,
but it's not because we are
solved
sort of
anything.
solved anything,
Right.
right?
Yeah. No, we didn't really solve much of
Yeah.
anything. Um, yeah, which is unfortunate. But thankfully, I mean, I do feel I mean, I know there's probably better history podcasts out there, but I do appreciate listening to the Dollop because it definitely has given me this perspective of like, oh yeah, America's been fucked the whole time. Like
Oh yeah,
we've
since
been
day
fucked
one.
the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's only gotten marginally less bad. Like it's never actually gotten better. I mean, and when you like hold that up against capitalism and how much of it is just about keeping people down so that we don't have to pay them for their labor. And a very
Mhm.
few people can make a lot of money off of thousands and millions. Like, I mean, it's super disgusting and gross and terrible. And definitely still happening today. If you think about where the movie starts, where it's like they're out there building the railroad, trying to pave the way. It's like even
Yes.
when it's like at the end when they're negotiating, and they're like, yeah, well, we'll take the so and so's and the so and so's, but not the Irish. It's like, damn
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Or like when the movie starts with like the person, Chinese person falling down dead and they're like, dock his pay. Well, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just
or
like,
passing out, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
yeah, no, and I mean, it doesn't help. Like one of the episodes I was listening to yesterday was about how we use prisoners to, for super cheap labor and exploit
Oh
them,
yeah.
and
Yeah. Oh, here,
it's
go fight
like,
these wildfires in California. But oh no, you can't be a firefighter whenever you actually get out of prison.
right, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's just, god damn, this country's the worst. So I think it's unfortunate that we can't have movies like Blazing Saddles, but I do think that there are pockets across the media landscape where, like, I mean, you have like the Daily Show that's like continually poking fun of
Mm-hmm.
America, right? And the media. And
Yeah.
a lot of the podcasts that we have. And a lot of people talk about it in a way where it's not funny. But there are places you can still go to find people who are being funny about how terrible everything is.
Yeah. I guess it sucks though because it's not complete farce. Like it's real people. It's just getting real people to be their terrible selves.
Yeah. Yeah. And tricking
Instead
them
of
into admitting like
yeah, and so then you can't like suspend it and be like, oh, it's not really like this. This is just made intensified for comedic effect. And it's
right.
like, no, this is yeah.
Well, and even with Blazing Saddles, it's like part of the reason he got away with it was because he said it in the Old West, right? So even though
Mm.
he infused, the Old West language with pieces of what I think we can safely call jive, perhaps.
Mm.
Uh, Airplane is definitely on the list. They let you watch that. But yeah, I mean, he could get away with it because he was talking about the Old West. So it's like, well, Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're not like that anymore. It's like, fuck off. Yes, you are. Like, yes, we are. We are all still like this. Like, goddamn. We are
Yeah.
the absolute worst.
I mean, I guess the closest thing to like a modern Mel Brooks would be like Sacha Baron Cohen with all of his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he gets close. But I mean, so Mel Brooks wrote for Show of Shows. So I think it's like late night comedy, where you get those
Yeah.
writers' rooms. I think that's where you get it. And then Sacha Baron Cohen for sure, definitely, because he goes in and attacks people in a way that they aren't expecting. But he still does it with real people.
Yeah, so that is the difference, is that it's still real people and not just
Right.
yeah.
So they have to sit
But then
with
the
the
hard thing about that
discomfort.
is then those people feel attacked, so it's not subtle. Whereas like a Mel Brooks, with this is more subtle. And I don't know if you're actually trying to change something, which way is better, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not saying Mel Brooks was actually trying to change anything, you
Well,
know?
I mean, I definitely think that he was using humor as a tool to point out
Mm.
racism and
And hypocrisy.
injustice and yeah, I mean hypocrisy for sure. So um yeah, I would definitely say that that's true. But it's a funny movie if you can handle it.
If not, just go watch Spaceballs.
Which is not as funny. Unless you're very sensitive and you love Star Wars and think it's your Bible, then please don't watch Spaceballs because you'll figure out that he's making fun of it and get real sad. But yeah, no, I think it's just perfect. I mean, I think it's the perfect thing to pillar or like to attack Hollywood. I think is because
Yeah.
everybody can kind of get behind that. There's nobody that's like,
You're not
but
tagging a group of
Hollywood.
yeah,
Whoa.
you're not tagging a group of people. You're attacking an industry, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And an industry that has a very bad history of perpetuating a lot of bullshit. So it deserves to be attacked for sure. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this and the
Very
producers.
a
The
very bad
producers.
recent history of
Yeah.
perpetuating.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the producers, see the producers. Oh my God. Movie. I mean, I think the producers is the kind of comedy that like we wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. Like I think it's a very it has more nuance, I think, than
Yeah, it's higher brow,
yeah,
not higher brow,
this
but
is very broad comedy for the most part.
yeah.
So we got a lot of it. But um yeah, and it's interesting too. Apparently the two people that they had in mind for the leads, they couldn't get. So he Mel Brooks wanted Richard Pryor, but he couldn't get insurance
Mm.
because of Pryor's addictions. Nobody would insure him. And the guy that they had that was going to play Gene Wilder's role, the Waco kid, apparently was actually a drunk. And that first scene where he was upside down, he was puking. And they were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm actually a drunk." They were like,
Puking upside
"Okay."
down is really dangerous. Like that's how you choke on your own vomit. Like
But it's kind of amazing because it's like I don't know that this movie would have been as good. Like they
without
managed,
those two, they
yeah,
had
they
very good
they have
chemistry.
wonderful
Like
chemistry where it's like you don't
they,
need a woman when you have the two of them because their chemistry
yeah,
is so perfect. Like
yeah.
it's absolutely stunning. And they just were both so subtle and managed to play off one another so well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't know how many takes that they had to take, or how many takes they took, but like
Yeah.
you feel like it probably wasn't that many. And um evidently Gene Wilder really mentored Cleavon Little because he had been acting on stage. So he did really broad. And so Gene Wilder was kind of teaching him how to bring it back down smaller for the small
Mm.
screen. So they kind of had a good relationship that way. But another piece of trivia that I read, the guy that played
Sorry.
no, it's okay.
It said it had 7% left and then it just turned off. So apparently that was a lie.
Seven
I was
percent
like,
of nothing.
yeah, we're getting close to the end. I'll make it. And it's like that time I ran out of gas in Dallas.
Oh, you and your ADHD. So cute.
Sorry.
Why are you apologizing? It's fine.
Anyways,
It's fine.
it's
It's
funny.
fine.
Yes.
Yeah. No, so the guy that at the beginning that was like trying to get them to sing, kind of
Yes.
like cute guy, but whatever. He had a really hard time and he didn't want to say the N-word.
Um.
He really, really, really not Slim Pickens, but his like henchman.
Oh, okay.
He really didn't want to, and I think it was Cleavon Little that was like, look, man, like we're cool. Like the fact
It's
that you
fine.
don't want to say it to me is we're okay. Like
I can
we
see how one would be reluctant to say it in front of a very large group of black men. Like, they would be uncomfortable.
it would be hard to say, like, I mean,
In period, but
yeah.
yes, but 1974,
I still think
yes.
in 1974, I mean, it would be like
I don't know, because in the 1980s, our family had no problem saying it. So,
well, they tried not to say it around us very much, but that's and be okay. To clarify, our extended family,
our extended family, yes.
and probably our dad thinking that he was quote unquote being funny, but mm.
I don't remember Dad ever saying.
Oh, he definitely did, like to be
Oh,
funny
did
or
he?
whatever. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I remember him talking about knowing authentic black people. And
yeah. That was later. Did your
that was in the
students?
2000s,
Did
and we
your
were like,
students give him a card?
no, they did not. I mean, no, they probably would, but
He doesn't deserve it.
but yeah, okay.
So
So he didn't
yeah,
want to say it, and then they were like, "It's cool."
yeah, he was like, yeah, man, it's cool. Like if you were excited to say it, we'd have a problem, but you're cool. So um
The
yeah.
council met, and
The
that's
council met, that's right. Good times. Y'all, thanks. That's it for the second in our series of will they let you watch that?
that was a parenting choice.
That was a choice. Join us next time. We're gonna take a little break because Ryan's got to actually be a teacher for a little while and focus on her students. So we're gonna be off for a few weeks. Then we'll pick back up, maybe do a quick short little break and then have a long season for the summer. I've got some ideas about fairy tales and some other themes that I think will be fun. But
I was talking to Elliot, and it was like, "Oh my God, it's like our life is getting." It was like we're going to the beach, then you're coming to visit, and then I have like my end of school, graduation testing, blah blah. He's gonna go to Great Wolf Lodge with Ben and Martha, like in May. Then we're going to Texas, and then we'll come back, and he's got theater camp like every week in July, and then it's like he starts kindergarten. I'm like, geez, plus dance and soccer and whatever other thing I can find to see for.
so stay tuned for news of Elliot. And when we join you back after April, we will be talking about one of my favorite movies, one of the few that I actually own on physical media, Flashdance. And yes,
And we
they
will be
let
talking.
us watch that.
Yes.
We're going to call it formative for better or for worse. It's formative.
I think I should should I watch it with Elliot since he loves the song?
No. No.
Okay.
What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? What should we talk about in future episodes? We want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram and Threads at I Love You But Pod, or email us at I Love You But Pod at gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. We'd love to know your thoughts on Blazing Saddles. No. Be sure, we're still trying to build our platform. So be sure to rate, review, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening. I'm Heather.
I'm Ryan, and we wish you lots and lots of conditional love.